Hello and welcome back to Anarchy in the Ukulele.
Who said you could do the intro?
I just assumed.
It's the third time we've done it, actually.
Yeah. I should have said that because I did it in the previous two takes, obviously. How you doing?
I'm good. It's good to have you back, Paul.
Good to be back.
I would say this every video we do today.
Yeah,
which means for the
every
next,
single one.
The next month, people are going to be like, oh,
Yeah,
welcome back, Paul.
where have you been? Where have you been? Anyway, nice. What are we doing today, Kev?
We're going to change some strings.
A little bit. Okay, on a ukulele. On a ukulele, I guess.
On a ukulele, yeah, not your G string.
Right, okay.
Actually, we are going to change your G string. So yeah, we're going to change some strings.
Okay.
And you're going to show us how.
Yeah, because there's a right way and a wrong way to do it.
Oh, show us the wrong way.
Yeah, that'll make for a good video, won't it?
Yeah. So, Paul, what strings are available?
Well,
You asked me this last time.
yeah. Well, no, I was just going to say, first of all, shall we just chat quickly about when to change strings?
That is a good idea.
So effectively, you may have no choice because you may bust the string. It may just break, and then you'll have to change the
Does that
strings.
happen often on ukulele?
Very rare. It happened to me the other day, but it's very rare for it to happen, to be honest. If you break one string, it's generally best to change all of them. Change all four so they'll all be in tune and they'll all be settling at the same time. I wouldn't just change one.
No.
Unless you're mid-gig.
Mid-gig and then change the others afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing, I'm just going to grab this uke here. Because we tend to use these sort of clear strings, you won't notice any discoloration on them. If you've got a metal wound low G, you'll get discoloration and it needs changing then. They might not be staying in tune, that's a good sign, or they'll just sound dull, or your intonation, which is just as you play up the neck, won't be very good. So there.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's okay. Good examples of when to change them. It depends how much you play. I play a lot.
That's what I was just about to say, because a lot of people ask, how often should you change your strings?
Yeah.
Well, there isn't really an answer to that unless you know precisely every 100 hours worth of playing. Or like, so you just have to get a feel for it, don't you? You have to get a feel when they get a bit dead sounding. They're not as lively. They don't ring quite as much.
Yeah.
Like you say, the intonation can wobble a little bit.
I mean, I change mine every 3 months, roughly, but I play a lot.
But you play consistently, so you know kind of how much
Annoyingly,
you're playing.
you would say.
Yeah.
but every 3 months.
But if you went on holiday for 2 months, you wouldn't change
might
it
mess
every
my
3 months,
system up, wouldn't it?
You wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, just wouldn't.
So it's don't go on how often should I change them. You need to decide that for yourself. But it's on the feel of them.
Yeah.
You know, if something just isn't sounding as nice to you, that's time to change strings.
Yeah, run your fingers along. If there's any nicks in them, in fact, I had one the other day that had a tiny little bit of sort of string coming out of it,
right?
Which of course I pulled and unravelled. So just check your strings like that. If they feel, if they got a little nick, change them before you get no choice and they snap.
Yeah.
So now you're desperate to talk about what types of strings there are, aren't you?
No, I don't want to talk about it. There are lots of different types of strings.
There are.
What are they, Paul?
Do you want me to name all of them?
Name all of them.
How long have you got? Name all the strings.
All the strings.
I'm not going to name all the strings.
So you've got nylon strings.
Yeah.
Actual nylon strings.
Yeah.
You've got fluorocarbon strings, which are like fishing line. I like fluorocarbon, although I'm not going to use them today for this one. You've got synthetic strings.
Yeah.
So like the Aquila.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say in the last video I said it right first time.
It is hard to say.
Yeah.
We're going to do another video on all the types of strings.
We are going to do that, but for the time being, I would say go and look at Alex Bed's video on Ukes with Alex, because he does a really good, in-depth, practically an hour-long video on it, and it's fantastic, and I learnt everything I know about strings from that.
Most people do stick to one brand. I mean, I stick to Living Water or Tin Man strings because I like them both and they're thin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm experimenting. I like the Martin strings on my Martin.
Yeah.
I really like the fluorocarbons that come on this ukulele, which they don't tell you what they are. They just say they're Brazilian fluorocarbon. It's from Reels, the fishing line, I think.
Right, okay.
I quite like the idea, when I've settled on a fluorocarbon one, of literally buying reels of it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be my use, my strings.
Yeah.
And so not buying packs of strings at that point. But, it's all different kinds. Today, we are going to use, so we've got some Clear nylons. We've got some clear nylons with low Gs, and we've got a set of fluorocarbon, 10 fluorocarbon moonbeams. We're not going to use those today. I'm going to go for the nylons.
Yep.
And I'm going to put a low G on it, and we're going to see what that sounds like.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Let me put this down.
So,
I'm going to grab the uke you want changing.
yeah, so which uke are we going to change? We're going to change... Let's pop those down. We're going to change strings on this Carvello.
Okay.
Well, we've only just reviewed this.
Yeah.
And it's got a couple of intonation issues, because I've been using it quite a lot. Mm-hmm. That's crept in. We've had it for, a couple of months now, and it's been played pretty regularly. So I think you could get by with these strings a little bit longer, but for the purpose of this, we're going to change them on this one. And this is kind of your standard looking. I know it's a thin line, but that makes no difference to changing the strings. And yeah, so pretty standard looking. I'll leave the tuner on for you because you're going to need that. Would you like a winder, Paul?
I'd love a winder.
I'll go get you one.
Thank you very much.
You carry on talking.
Okay.
To have a lovely people of ukulele YouTube land.
Yeah.
YouTube.
YouTube.
Why did we not call the channel YouTube? I'm starting a new channel
Starting
on my
a
own
breakout
called YouTube.
one.
Yeah, look out for it. Like, subscribe.
Okay.
Yeah, you keep talking. I'm going to go and get the wine.
Right.
Wait till I've gone.
So whether you're changing a tenor, soprano, concert, it doesn't matter. The method's the same. If you're changing a low G or high G, the method is exactly the same. First tip, wash your hands before you do anything. 2 reasons. A, you don't want all grease over the strings. And B, you want your hands nice and clean, because if you have got grease on the strings, they might slip out, and we do not want that to happen. So the first thing to do is to take the strings off the ukulele. Assuming your ukulele has been strung correctly, you'll twist it towards you. You'll hear the uke go down, like that. Okay, so just slacken off the strings. You can do them one at a time, or you can do them all at once like this. If you do it that way, the wrong way, it's going to go up. Okay, so just slacken them off a bit. You've got two choices. When you've undone them, you can undo them the whole way, and then we'll take them off, or you can undo them a bit and you can cut them. If you decide to cut your ukulele strings, for heaven's sake, slacken them off. Don't just cut them when they're fully wound, because they will take your eye out. They will probably scratch your ukulele as well, because they come off at very high velocity. So if you are going to cut them, make sure that you've unwound them first. The other thing to do with your ukulele strings, when you take them off, I keep all of mine. I keep them in a drawer. I keep them for approximately 10 years, and then I wonder, why have I kept them?
Stop talking, Paul.
And I throw them away. Oh, Kev's back. So we can see this one is virtually undone. Oh, Kev's got me a winder now that I've...
Posh one as well.
Posh one. I've never used one like this, so I'm going to put that on there presumably, and that's going to... Oh, this is a bit difficult to use. There you go. So I don't know if that's going up or down there. Yeah, there you go. Wow, that's confusing. I have an electric one, or I have a man to do this.
Watching an expert, well, I have a man to do it. It's you.
Yeah, it's you. So that's nice. Would you mind awfully? That's nice and slack now. So what I then do, I then pick it off at this end. Okay, so you just undo it like that, and before you know it, you'll be able to pull it out with a bit of luck.
I'm going again.
And you're off again. So there you go. It's come out of that end. We're then going to go up to the top end and just feed it through, and that string is now off. Okay, so then you throw that to your friend Kev. He'll sort it out later. Oh, he's run off with my winder. There you go. So that was nice of me. Gives me a winder.
You had your winder.
I gave it back to you and said, hold down.
You put it on my chair.
I didn't put it on the chair. I wouldn't dare put it on your chair, Kev. So you're so strong and manly.
Hold on.
That's why you don't cut strings. That was just hilarious. I'll have them off before he's cut them anyway. So yeah, that is a bit rubbish. So we'll get all 4 strings off first. Kev's desperate to cut these.
Yeah, I keep walking out on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wandering out of the shop.
Go on then, cut it.
Oh, they're quite tight.
They are. That's why you don't do it. There you go. So that's if you want to be a a heretic. Cut your strings.
We had this whole conversation that Paul doesn't like people cutting strings.
I mean, it's just wasteful, isn't it?
But, you know, rather than speeding up the video, I thought I would just manually speed up the video.
Yeah, can't quite see that one.
But what would you do with your strings, Paul?
I've already explained that. If you'd have had the courtesy to stay in this video, you'd know that I keep them for 10 years.
I was bored.
And then throw them away. Just hold that for me a little bit. Thank you very much.
Do anything on his own.
Tuck that through.
Remember I said I missed you?
Yeah.
That's worn off.
Yeah, I remember I was polite and said I'd missed you. Right, we're almost there. I can't quite see this one. What's maniac?
You got your glasses on your head.
Got me Timmy Mallet glasses.
They are very Timmy Mallet, aren't they?
Yeah. There you go. That's done.
Say blur.
Look at the camera go blur. Mustn't hesitate. Mustn't pause. The strings are off. The strings are off. Give it a bit of a clean. Kev looked after it. So
yeah, that is the thing. When you change your strings, there's a few things you can do. You can, and I'm presuming you'd use guitar oil.
Yeah.
So you can use fret oil. This one doesn't need it because it's pretty new, and we haven't got any with us just at the minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, buy a little bottle of fret oil. Just give it a little wipe over. Clean all the frets up as well. Give them a little polish.
Yeah.
Get all the dust off because dust always gathers around by your bridge.
Yeah.
I would also say from experience, particularly if you've got a compensated saddle, just be careful because these can drop out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you're inexperienced, you don't necessarily know which way round it should go, and
yeah, definitely,
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it might be chamfered a little bit to change the action, in which case needs to go back in the same way.
Yeah, the also should technically, I think, have different size grooves in them up here. Yeah. Sorry, and these should be glued in, but occasionally they'll fall out as well. Yeah. But don't panic if they do.
So just be a little bit careful with that. I took my Gretsch guitar apart once, not realising that the bridge is completely movable. And the whole thing I had to try and work out where to put it back.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah.
So here we have the strings. We'll open these up. Now, they're normally, different string manufacturers use different ways of labelling strings. Some use colours. Some actually put a label on them saying what string is what. These use colours, and I've just thrown the packet on the floor. But anyway,
Fancy.
we'll do the.
So if they're not labelled,
this one will say on them.
You can tell. I mean,
yeah, through the thickness, can't you?
Yeah. So you've got that's the thickest string, which will be the low G. Or have you got?
No, I've got the thickest. I've got the metal wound one.
Oh, you've got a metal wound one with
that's
lovely. Yes, that's the low G.
That's the low G. Then there's just a little key, isn't there? It will say green is your C.
I can't read that. Yeah, so green is C, black is G, purple E, and silver A.
There you go, perfect. And you can just take that little sort of flag thing off, unwind your string.
I will be in charge of holding the strings.
Very well. Now then.
I'm working hard this morning.
You are, aren't you? This ukulele has only got one hole for each string. Some have two. Okay, my personal advice is if it has two, go through the one nearest to you. Here, if you've got two holes.
So some have two holes in the bridge?
Some have. My Leo has two holes. Reason being,
I've not seen two holes in the bridge before.
Yeah, it's getting more common. It allows you to, well, some people think it's so you go through one and through another one and double tie it. I disagree. Personally, I think it's so you can move the strings. They'll either be closer here.
Change the width a little bit.
Well, no, the width will stay the same because you've got to make sure they're all either further left or further right. But it will change how close they are to the side of the fretboard. I don't fret my G a lot, so I like it to be close here and have more room on the A side. So that's why.
Okay.
Okay, so you then, well, bring the old glasses on. You've got to bung it through the hole like this, and then this. You might need a little pen. Have you got a pen?
Pen?
Yeah, you might need a little pen or something to just thread it through.
No.
Sometimes
we haven't got a pen. Man up.
You haven't got a pen, and you're not willing to get me one. I am going to need one.
I've got up lots during this video.
Well, okay. In that case, I'll just thread it this way. Then, if you're going to be mean, I normally thread it the other way and just use a pen. So,
pen? Why are you using a pen?
Just to pick it up, just to pick the string up, because I've got massive fingers. Now, this is the first bit that is complicated. I don't know how close the camera is to hit. In effect,
Bongo Boy's got you, I think.
Can you see that? Okay.
Okay.
Fantastic. I'm just going to do a granny knot. So I'm going to go under here, and then I'm going to do the same again. So I've twisted it around, I'm going to go under, and then I'm going to do that once more so it's really tight. Now you'll notice I have left an awful lot there, okay, and that's for a reason. We will trim that off. The reason is, in case it slips, I've got plenty of string to go and I will see it slipping, okay. If you only leave a tiny little millimetre out and it slips, your string will come off.
Do you tuck these under, or do you leave them loose and trim?
I leave them loose and trim them. I never tuck them under. I think it's only really manufacturers that do that.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I haven't explained what I'm doing here. So you're then going on the inside of the winder. Always go on the inside like that. Never go on the outside, or else it'll wind the wrong way.
That's one of the most important things that beginners get wrong, isn't it?
Yeah. I tend to wrap it round a couple of times like that first, and then I go through the hole. And this is where you've got another option, and it depends what strings you're using, but that's gone through the hole and out the hole twice. Third time lucky, there we go. Now, pull that nice and tight, and your string is in, okay? On a low G, that's a thick metal wound one, I wouldn't go through the hole again. On the higher ones, the higher, thinner strings, I tend to go through the hole twice. We're now going to wind it up like this. Pluck it as you do it, and you'll hear it going up. Now here's a really important thing. Oh, we're going to need the tuner as well. Have you got the tuner, Kev? As you do this, thank you kindly, God, they are long strings. As you do this, keep your hand over like that. If the string slips, and occasionally they will if you've only done a single knot or something, and that comes out at high velocity, it's going to hit your hand. It's not going to flick out and hit you, or in this case, Kev, in the eye. Okay?
You know, if you got to take one to the
eye. So we'll leave that there for now because that's saying G. Well, it's actually saying G sharp, but we'll leave it there for now, and we'll put the next string on. You don't need to worry about getting it in tune yet.
So our next string is the C string, and it is the green one.
Lovely.
So the second thickest string.
And you'll notice we've got, as talked about, we've got a long bit there and we've got a long bit here, but we're not worried about that. If when you're tuning it up, it starts slipping down, as in you're tuning it and it's going, double check. It normally means that it's coming out of one of the ends, which is when, well, if it comes out at high speed, you'll have a problem.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to have to do it this way because you're not kind enough to get me a pen.
Why would you do it the other way?
Why would you do it when you can just do it this way and it works?
Can I get back to you on that? Again, I'm leaving loads of room. These ones are a bit harder to do, so I'm doing a granny knot followed by another granny knot.
Where do we get him from?
When you put a belt on, do you put the buckle through all of the loops first?
Yeah, he does.
Hold that. I'm going to leave you to chat about that for the next 10 minutes. Again, you'll see that I'm on the inside and I'm putting it in the correct groove there. These grooves, if you look at the grooves on the nut, they're actually different thicknesses for different strings. So I'm going to twist it round once, I'm going to twist it round
I've just
twice.
realised what he's doing.
What?
This is the how not to change your string.
Oh yeah, very good. I need my glasses on to see that.
Go on, Timmy.
What a terrible thing that I have to wear glasses to do this.
It's coming to my eyesight's shocking at the minute.
Really? There you go, that's in. That seems like a very thick C string, so I'm not going to double wind that one either. Double hole it. Now that slipped a little bit, but I think it's going to be okay. Right, let me grab that tuner, please. Thank you very much. So I just realised, does this not have settings, this one, like uke or guitar?
Pardon?
The tuner, is it just...
no, it's a ukulele tuner.
It's specific ukulele.
Specific for ukulele, yeah.
So I'm going to get that up to roughly C. I don't need to worry about it at the moment. But you can hear it's going up and it's not slipping. So that means it is in right. Oh, jumped all the way to C sharp, nice. Next one, please, sir.
So next up we have the purple.
Purple. Lovely. Take the flag off. Ooh. Just unravel it.
That's right, yep. So E string is purple.
not the quickest job in the world. I tend to sort of put aside 20 minutes for changing strings.
Oh, this feels like a lot longer.
Yeah, I put aside 4 hours for changing strings.
This is dragging on.
I'm going to leave that a little bit longer. Might put them on in the wrong order for a laugh.
I mean, the videos that me and Abby film, I mean, we would have filmed 10 by this time, wouldn't we?
10. You couldn't do 10 in a week, you two clowns. Right.
What was all the research that we do beforehand?
All the thorough research that you do. Right, we're going on the inside. Oops, a daisy. Take that off.
When we come up with video ideas, Abby just keeps coming up with things that aren't ukulele based.
Yeah.
Just that she wants to do.
Yeah, generally involve going on a trip somewhere to like France or something.
Yeah.
So we'll wind it around a couple of times and then we will go through the hole. I don't think I'm going to
I don't know how much of this bongo boy's getting with your hand there, but...
A little bit.
There you go. So now we'll give that one a little... I'm not even using the winder, controversially.
Just when we do the last one, just try and get the uke round this side a little bit and make sure you're getting...
So that one then slipped a little bit, so I'm just going to check that that bit of string there is not shortening, because if it is, that's okay now. I mean, there's sometimes slip and it's nothing to worry about. Yeah, I'll do a close-up on the next one. Now you'll notice that this C string, 30 seconds was in tune, 30 seconds ago was in tune, it's now an A sharp. Obviously, these strings are just like elastic bands. They've sat in a box, or on Kev's wall. We've done that, and they want to do that. So as you tune it, they will slip down, and I'll discuss that more in a little bit. So I'll put it back up to C. Oh, God knows what that one's on. And this one here will go up to E, and then I'll give you a tip in a minute. Are you still awake? Tell me a joke.
It's okay if I yawn, but you can't yawn.
I'm genuinely
What's the score
tired.
in the football going to be
It's
today?
not kicked off yet.
No, I know
today.
that. I want your prediction.
England are going to win.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's going to be 4-0.
You notice I'm keeping my hand there just to protect Kev in case it does slip out, then it's only going to hurt my hand.
Protecting me.
I mean, Kev's got those ridiculous safety glasses on anyway that he got from wherever. We're almost there. There you go. Right, last one, Kev, please.
So A string.
This is our A string. We'll take that off. I'll put them up in a little bit. Last one with my grease-free hands.
Oh, the greasy fingers over here. Did you tell him to wash your hands?
Yeah.
Did you wash yours?
Yeah, of course we did.
Bongo boy, did he wash his hands?
Well, I think you did before
He says this after he goes for a wee, and I don't believe he ever washes his hands.
Right, we'll do... Oh, so, you can see here, it's through.
Yeah.
I've got a nice length there. I'm looping under, like that. And then effectively, it's what they used to call a granny knot. Then I'm just going under again, and I'm doing it twice. So I've done that, now do it again. So you'll end up, it looks almost like a sort of twist that you've got there. And again, pull it nice and tight before you go at this end. As I go at this end, I'm going on the inside. Okay, go round once or twice. Once, twice. Keep it taut at all times. And then find
His
the
eyes
hole.
are gone.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible.
You've aged since we last saw you.
I've aged since I've been working with you. It's the truth, Kev.
Your big birthday coming up, isn't it?
Yeah,
Big
it is.
6-0.
Big 6-0, yeah.
What are we doing?
Now.
What are we doing to celebrate?
Well, I know what I'm doing. Right, let's give that a little wind. So, as you wind it, flick it like that, and you'll
Flick it?
Flick it. I'm just plucking it to check it's not going
So
down.
by flick, do you mean
Pluck.
Pluck. You're in the wrong. You got your wrong nut hole there.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. Right, and then we'll go all the way up to A, and then we'll check the others. That is A, but I'm guessing it's the wrong octave, eh?
So we've just sped a lot of that up because we've been here for about 3 days.
Yeah. And there's still 3 more days
And
to go.
on our list of things on our auto cue, we're only at how to put a string on.
And my arm's starting
There's
to ache.
other things to do.
Right, we're It is, I must say, when you first do this, it's really scary.
It is scary. Do you know what? I still don't like changing strings.
That's why you got me to do these ones.
Not because I worry about them pinging it off like other people do.
Look at that. So,
looking at no one in particular.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Bongo Boy because...
Have you ever had it though? Have you had them flick off?
Yeah. I find, I like to live life on the edge.
I mean, they flicked off on the classical guitar line and it marked them, and it still upsets me 30 years later.
I've got a automatic guitar tuner, the same as you have.
Yeah.
In fact, I think you copied me.
I did.
And Fern, who is Bongo Boy's wife, and also plays in our Anarchy band, you've seen Fern sing and play, is very scared of guitar strings breaking, or any strings breaking. Yeah. And whenever I made her use the automatic tuner, it was the funniest thing ever, because she'd hold it and it'd start whizzing around and she'd literally sort of throw the instrument and everything down and run away from it.
They are scary.
So, I mean, it ended up taking her twice as long to tune her guitar with an automatic guitar tuner because she was so scared of it whizzing around.
So, in effect, when you tune it, I'll put it roughly in tune. What I tend to do, so for the C, I would just tune it up we'll say a letter. So I would tune that to a D, or maybe even E, and then let it settle down. So the E, I would just tune up to an F. So some people stretch them like that.
I think that's a good tip. I would stretch them.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Are you scared to stretch them?
I am scared to stretch them. I don't like to stretch them because I think it puts untold pressure on the bridge.
I find when they're tied like this and you stretch them, you can they can pull loose if they're not.
Oh, we're not too low on that one, aren't they? On that G.
However, I'm going to show you, because I'm a big advocate of stretching strings, particularly guitar strings as well. But I would give them a really good pull out like that. Just really pull against them. I'd probably go stronger than that, but I don't want them to break on camera and me look a fool. So yeah, I would pull them out like that. This ukulele was perfectly in tune before I stretched them. Now not so much.
This is now roughly in tune G, C, E, A. So as I said, I would put them all up a letter, or maybe even two, and then just leave it for a while. So all we've got to do, because you'll notice you get it in tune and the next second it's out. I would say personally they take about a week-ish to settle down, and maybe not quite a week, couple of days, few days.
I think it depends how much you're playing it. I always find it hard because I'm obviously a world-class recording engineer.
Clearly.
And whenever I'm recording you...
A world-class player.
It's a struggle, but... quite if you're doing classical guitar or even just acoustic guitars, you say, right, change your strings before the session, but play them in.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to change the strings and play them in quickly and things like that. And sometimes you have to change them in a session. That's where I find the stretching helps them settle down a lot quicker. I would say with stretching, you could settle that down within a day.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm doing a concert, I always put new strings on, but I would change it 2 days before. Likewise, if I'm recording here. So, in effect, that's now in tune. It obviously looks a mess. So these, just get some scissors and trim them. You do not want the string to be touching the bass there. So they want to be floating in the air, because if they are, you'll get vibrations, okay? So just trim them off with scissors.
You want about like 4 or 5 mil, don't you, just left?
Yeah, about that, just so it's not touching on there. So you trim them off. Likewise here, I leave just a little bit sticking out. You're done. Have we got any scissors? Where we can give this a trim.
Mammoth. I think they're like...
I mean, so that was on G.
They're material cutting scissors.
Blimey, they are very fancy. And then we'll have it.
Have a trim, Paul.
Have a trim. Let's get that one. I always have a haircut before I come down here anyway. Just
you've got a bit sticking up. I was just going to sort that for you.
There you go. Possibly a bit short, that one. These are very good scissors, aren't they?
Wunderbar.
I don't want to throw them on the floor if that's alright.
That's alright.
And then these ones up here will do the same. I used to not trim them at the top, and it used to really annoy people when I was in a band.
Yeah, it annoys me having them curled round. I don't know why it does. It doesn't annoy me other people having it. It annoys me on my instruments.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I would have trimmed them closer than that.
I know you would.
They're going to scratch your fingers now.
I looked at yours and you trim yours very short, don't you?
Trim mine very. I would trim the top ones as short as you can get them.
Notice how I hand them to you?
Just tip for people.
Yeah, I tend to leave them a little bit longer, but you're probably right. Let's just double check it, and then we are. So it is settling down a little bit. So low G. See?
It'll take a lot of tuning, won't it? And
yeah.
The thing with that is,
it'll actually go out as I play. I'll play something.
The thing with that is you want to tune, play.
Yeah. Yeah, and then before you go to bed, just oop. It'll go out in a second.
Yeah, it's going, but it's. But yeah, the only way to is keep tuning, just stretch them like I do, and it'll be pretty good.
So before we all go tonight, we'll just tune this up a little bit, and we're done. There you go. How to safely change your strings the correct way. Lovely.
How does it feel with those nylon strings?
Yeah, quite nice. I like the low G.
Yeah, I like the low G on that. I'm not expecting those to project quite as much on this instrument.
See, I really like a low G.
Bloody song. You never have a low G on any of your instruments, do you?
Yeah, I've got one on one of my layers. Mainly for bark.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're playing bark, it's good to have a little bit of a low G on there, you know. Give you the extra octave. There you go.
It's nice. Awesome. Well done. Well, that was a short video.
Yeah, 3 hours later.
Need my life back.
Can I do the ending, Benji? Let me do the beginning.
Go on then.
Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and
ring the bell.